Whew. Am I the only one still exhausted from that great madness known as Week 17? I love Week 17. Too many crazy things happen, and it's all in one day. 16 games, a lot to solve, and just all in one crazy night. In the case of the West Coast, it happens before it ends before prime time. But man, I just whoa. So in the in the AFC, somebody is playing a wild card weekend. Yep. For the first time since 2009, the Patriots are going to have to slum it with the other seven teams and have to start their postseason on the first weekend of the new year. The Patriots lost a stunner at home to the Miami Dolphins. That's 2 years in a row. The Dolphins seem to always snake bite New England, no matter how bad Miami is. Um, Last year's the Miami Miracle. This time they got to where it hurt them the most in the seeding. But 27-24 is the final score, and as a result of that and the Chiefs winning, Mahomes gets Walker weekend off, while Brady has to start his postseason a week earlier than he usually does. The Patriots have had buys every year, starting with the 2010 season, and most of the time it's gotten them far. But yeah, the buy is power. Ask them and ask some of the other teams that have had it. And I say this even though I'm a Packers fan. I've seen Rodgers win a Super Bowl without even playing a home playoff game. But speaking of the Packers, well, I'll get to them. I'll get to the Packers later. I have to stay in the AFC. Um, but that was solved. And the only other thing that needed to be solved was who gets the sixth seed and makes the playoffs in the AFC. And it was all settled after all the dust was settled in three games, four technically if you count the Colts. Even though they were eliminated, they had a role to play. Congratulations go out to the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are in the playoffs for the second time in 3 years. That's amazing. All they had to do was win, and they won big over a Houston team that was already locked in entering that game at number four and rested pretty much all their starters. So, so yeah, congratulations to Tennessee. They are in the playoffs. Pittsburgh got eliminated anyway, and to make matters worse, they lost to a Ravens team that had benched everybody. RG3 beat them. And the Raiders had a very slim chance, but lost by 1 point after their 2 point conversion failed. This was their final game as the Oakland Raiders. It's off to Vegas. So yeah, in the NFC, the Packers, it was a bit iffy right there, but Rodgers saved the day, got us to field goal range in that final drive, and Crosby nailed that chip shot. And as a result of that win, we got a bye. And as I said, the bye is power. You got a bye, you got a good shot to win the Super Bowl because you got a home because you're going to be at home for the original playoff and the championship. Well, I'll get to that later. Um, the NFC East. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, all they had to do was win, and they won big over the Giants. And you have to feel for Dallas, though. Dallas blew out Washington. Dak Prescott had that great game, threw for over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. Matter of fact, his performance was key in my fantasy football win, but championship win. But that wasn't enough because Philly had to lose, and that didn't happen. So Cowboys finished 8-8, eliminated, and the $1 million question is: Garrett going or is he staying for yet another year? Uh, that's the question. Now, the week and the season ended with Niners in Seattle against the Seahawks with the West, and number one on the line for San Francisco. Of course, if San Francisco lost, we get it. And Seattle had a bad first half, but they picked it up, and they had a final drive, and it looked like they were gonna get it done. They got first and goal at the 1, but some weirdo delay of game happened that moved it back, and I went, oh no. Pretty much every Packers fan went, oh no. But they were getting close. That was pass interference. How in the hell did you not call that? That was pass interference. It was egregious. They kept their flags in their pockets and swallowed their whistles. And the fourth and goal, he got it to Jacob Hollister. Russ got it to Jacob Hollister. And I was thinking touchdown, but then I saw a replay. Just inches short. Are you kidding? Ugh, like this season could end on a more crazier note. So, it says the Niners win by 5 points, but they really won by 5 inches. As a result, Niners got home field. We have the bye, but we don't get home field. And Seattle, because of that non-call, the stupid call, and the inches short, Seattle has to go to Philly for Wild Card Weekend. Now, let me vent a little bit about something. Twitter was full of people saying about the Packers, oh, this team didn't deserve to be 13-3. They pretty much sputtered the whole way through. They got an undeserved bye. They would get beaten in the divisional round at home. Really? I guess those same people didn't watch the 49ers in the last month. See, again, this negativity, the anti-Packers bias rears its ugly head. Because let's look at the Packers and Niners. Okay, number one, the two teams have the same record, which if you're a Niners fan shouldn't be a good thing. Because the way they were playing, that team should have been at least 15-1. They should have been either 15-1, 15-0-1, or the flat 16-0. Instead, look at their December. They lost games late. They barely won games. They barely won in Seattle. The Niners were inches away from having to go to Philly. They were. It was luck and bad circumstances that jinxed that ruined Seattle. Number two, Packers. Even though the Niners have home field, the Packers have a better home record. We only lost one home game this year, and that was to a playoff team. They lost 2 home games, one to a playoff team, the other to the Falcons. Yet we're the ones that sputtered. Yeah, okay. and get back to that game. You know who the real victims? Well, the Seahawks are definitely victims because they lost the division because of those BS circumstances. But you know who else were the real victims in that game? Packer fans, don't say us. Okay, we could have had a home field. Yeah, we could have, but we got a bye. That's good enough. The other real victims were the Saints. Because if the Niners had lost, the Saints would have had Wild Card Weekend off. Instead, the Saints at 13-3 have to host a Wild Card game. A definite argument could be said this is another case of the Saints getting screwed by a non-PI call. Even worse, it's one they weren't involved in. But yeah. So that wraps up a great regular season, and the playoffs start on Saturday. It's AFC Saturday, Texans at Bills, and Patriots at Tennessee. And it's NFC Sunday. Eagles at home against the Seahawks, and the Saints hosting the Vikings. And if I see another Minneapolis Miracle, I'm going to be sick. As for the bye teams, the Niners and the Ravens play their games on next Saturday, the 11th. The Chiefs and the Packers play next Sunday, the 12th. And the Packers are the last game that weekend. So that ends the 2019 season. That ends the NFL in the 2010s, as the game in Seattle was the last regular season game of the decade. With that I say, enjoy the playoffs. An early happy new year to everybody. And my next video will be a recap of Wild Card Weekend. So until then.